Hello all, it's Ohfour Mouse. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look back because I have been uploading digital art for 9 years now, and I've been uploading something like almost every month in that time, and probably more. But I've just always been interested in art and drawing and creating stuff. And once I finished school and we didn't have dumb little art projects and art in art class, I kind of went to digital arts. And the impetus of that was, of course, MLP. I started getting really into MLP from around 2011 to 2014, and that inspired me to do a bunch of fan art for it and kind of led me to be where I am today, doing like a bunch of dumb furry arts and stuff and recording this video. If you go all the way down my DeviantArt, all this old artwork is still online, and this was the first thing I uploaded in 2011, and it has been a really long time since then. I didn't have a pen or anything, a tablet or anything to draw with. This was before I drew this like 3 days before that, watching Fearless on that guy with glasses on a shitty laptop. I had some drawings. I took pictures of them and started like, oh, I could do digital art. Like, yeah, kind of inspired by seeing really cool fan art like this. This was a picture, a wallpaper of Twilight Sparkle by somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I still remember the picture that inspired me to kind of start drawing. It wasn't just one picture. It was a lot of really cool fan arts. Yeah, drawing and proportions and stuff. Um, if you see, like, this was one of the first things I drew that, yeah, just never comes out quite how I imagine. That is very me, and still I think about that a lot. Is like, it never comes out as good as I imagine. I've certainly gotten better, but I still struggle and always trying to improve, right? But I eventually started doing this kind of process. I had like a bunch of uh, reference images, sorry, that I printed out and kind of took around with me, kind of like this. I had like this pony anatomy thing that I printed out and took with me everywhere, and kind of drew on paper and then put that into GIMP. And man, looking at this now, this is really cluttered, and I'm very minimalist in what I put up on my wall now. It's like I would not be productive if this much clutter and things everywhere. And I don't have any like trinkets on my desk or anything now. I don't only have like my monitor and my mouse and my keyboard and my microphone right now, of course. Seeing old pictures like this is really like a shock to see like I was okay with this at the time. And I don't like putting art on my walls. I don't have any art on my walls in my apartment right now, just because I don't like even being subconsciously influenced by what I draw by seeing a piece of artwork constantly. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just me. Any case, yeah, I moved into college. I started doing more drawing there, and easy to like go off to the library between classes and draw something if you wanted to. It was nice and fun, and I still remember those days vividly. I remember like being on the 8th floor of my dorm, and everyone was loud outside and annoying, and I would just be like go off to the library where it was quiet and draw a little bit and then put it into GIMP and all that stuff. Oh man, I don't miss those days. Those days sucked. And yeah, drawing super big on like 2 pieces of paper. Don't draw this big, because if you want to make like a big change, like, oh, this arm doesn't look right, it would have to be a really big process to erase it all and draw it again. So I try to keep my drawings like maybe palm size or size of my hand outstretched at the most, depending on what it is. I eventually got pretty good. I'm pretty proud of this one. This was at the end of 2011. I drew this, had a background and shading and even flames and everything, and smoke effects and little highlights on their eyes. I like this one a lot. I think it holds up pretty well compared to the rest of my stuff in 2011. But yeah, this was my process at the time. I made this as like I was in a group called Artist Training Grounds that kind of give you a theme each week to kind of make you draw something pony related. So I did that for a long time, for a few years, I think. And this was my process: is I drew a pony like this, just kind of like rules of thumb, like the ears go right here, the eyes are this big, etc., etc. That probably influenced how I draw a lot of the stuff now. Definitely a very cartoonist art style. So it was probably inspired by MLP, of course. And then I put it into GIMP, do a little color correction, and then did this stroke path thing. Oh man. Before I had a drawing tablet, this was how I got those nice clean lines that people like, and people expect. But it was very tedious. It was like doing a vector kind of thing that wasn't actually a vector. And then it would give you these outlines that you can like bucket fill in. And this was quite a time capsule. Yeah, I do not miss this time. It took so much time to do all these control points on all these stuff, and if you wanted to change anything, you had to either like delete it all and redo it again or something. It was not good, but it was functional. It worked. It wasn't the best, but I did have a little shitty Wacom bamboo tablet at the time, but I never really used it that much, and didn't really have the want for a tablet till around 2013-ish, when I really decided, all right, fuck it, let's go get a tablet and do it. And that was after I did my first con as an artist. Yeah, in 2013, I did a few BroNYCons and sold art there. I sold, where is it? Yeah, I sold this, and then I added these later. I had the opportunity to go to a local BroNYCon as an artist, so I took that as like, yeah, I could do that. And I kind of pushed all these out in a few weeks and got them all printed out and nice and fancy, and ordered a bunch of bulk badges to sell there. And let me see. This was the result. I went to the con. It was pretty fun. Met a lot of fun people there, and a lot of friends that I knew locally went there. But it was a lot of fun and definitely an interesting experiment. Probably didn't make a lot of money, but I did meet someone there who sold pony plushes and kind of invited me to like go along with him to some other cons he was planning around Houston and then New Orleans and then Dallas again. So I ended up going with him to a few more cons. I added more badges to the next few cons I went to. Let me see. This was me at Fiesta Equestria. Very stern look on my face, and see all that artwork I'm selling. It was fun. It was interesting, and it was nice to go out and do different things. I did not have that great experience just because, you know, if you're seeing this versus like someone a lot better artwork like Sophie Calpery or something. I remember Sophie Calpery was at this con as well, and she had really good art. And also badges. So yeah, I didn't feel my artwork was that good, and looking back, definitely isn't as good as it could have been if I drew it now or anything. But you know, it was pretty good for my skill at the time, and I did make probably broke even, or almost broke even. It was an interesting experience, and definitely something I took with me when I ended up going to Furry Cons in the Artist Alley a few years later. I used like these same exact badges, these same exact badge holders that I bulk ordered back then. I still had them all those years later and used them. So that was interesting. And I guess if nothing else, I got the experience and the badges and stuff, and you know, that came in handy later. Anyway, after those cons, after the first con of that, I said fuck it and went out and got a drawing tablet. And this was the first thing I ever drew with the tablets. And because GIMP, which I was using, is not very good with drawing tablets, I switched over to the Paint Tool side, which I still use today. And this was mostly kind of an experiment in getting used to drawing with a tablet. And a lot of it was fiddling with Paint Tool size settings and smoothing and all this other junk that comes with drawing with a tablet that you kind of have to figure out as you go, that no one really tells you before you get one. But, you know, everyone's different and everyone draws differently, and this was kind of an experiment. But I kept going and did a bit more art. I definitely got better at drawing with a tablet as I went on. Like this one definitely was a lot better and a lot cleaner lines. Writing out text was still not that great. It had a lot of little pointy bits, and definitely something you had to get used to is writing text with a tablet, and you had to like tweak the settings a little bit. I'm sure no one really cares about that besides me, but it is something to keep in mind every time I write text. Anyway, moving on, I did a little dumb animations and some drawings for family, and as you can see, I started doing less and less pony stuff and more other random bits. I did some Binding of Isaac, some Dust Tail, and these are badges I did at Nighter Nights. Some other random things. Yeah, I did color pencil badges there for some people. That was fun, but definitely not my best work because I didn't really practice before I went there or anything. But yeah, I started getting into a game called Transform Mice, for I definitely mentioned before on this channel, but that kind of inspired me to start dueling mice and the stuff like that, and kind of inspired me to be a furry in the first place. So yeah, I did less and less pony stuff, as you can see. I did more and more other random stuff like Pokemon and Binding of Isaac and some other random things that I saw. More and more furry stuff, less and less pony stuff. And that went on for a while. And definitely around here, like I started posting my artwork to Reddit more and trying to be better. I took some requests from Reddit and to try to get some experience. That was fun. I'm pretty proud of how this one came out. This is probably like ones that are really my humor. This was like at the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. Christmas in January, because I am solo artist. This is like the last big MLP piece I ever drew, and it was pretty interesting to draw. Definitely has a lot of style and interesting perspective. I used to watch this number religiously, how many favorites I got. I don't really care about that much anymore. Like, yeah, even like Twitter likes or Reddit upvotes or stuff like that, it doesn't really matter that much. I guess like I'm at a place now where most of my stuff gets seen by a decent amount of people, so it doesn't really matter that much anymore. Not to humble brag or anything. Yeah, I started doing more kind of furry stuff, and I did some Undertale stuff. Started doing more, really became a furrier, started going to fur meets, started meeting furry people, and started doing more of my kind of humor that I have now, which is kind of like dumb furry stuff, cute and horny. This one got deleted off E621 because it only has human characters. He's in a fursuits. I think that's really dumb, but anyway. Going back, I started doing comics for furries, which I hadn't really done a comic in a while, as you can see. This is like my last BroNYCon comic, which has Luna and Celestia yelling at each other. Hey Twilight, can you hear me? That is so dumb, and I really love it. It's definitely Miles' kind of humor. I used to do like a bunch of these comics that are really long and really definitely my style humor, kind of poked fun at the show and different things. Had some derpy comics, had some comics of Twilight, stained glass windows, royal peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, I'm sorry, Twilight. Have you ever had a sandwich made from a magically enhanced bread, royal jelly, and freshly made peanut butter? The thing about these comics is I like them a lot, but they are very long. Like, literally, have a lot of height on them. It makes them hard to definitely read without zooming in really far. So, if you see my comics now, I try to avoid that and try to keep them a reasonable aspect ratio, where it's not just like super long comics anymore. Especially because on Twitter makes it difficult to zoom in on comics like that. I did some experiments around this time. I'm kind of skipping around. in time. I'm sorry, but yeah, I did some experiments on drawing humans. Not that proud of these, but they were. I saw a lot of humanized pony artwork, and I wanted to draw like them. I still need to draw more humans. Definitely gotten better at them now. Yeah, I got into Transform Ice. Uh, got out of MLP for a bit. Did some requests, like I said. Did some more furry artwork. This was a commission. Pretty proud of that. I didn't get a lot of commissions. Got like these 2 commissions and a few other ones. I was looking around a few years for commissions, and it wasn't until I was like 2019 that I got a lot better at artwork and a lot more skilled and a lot more definitely found my style and my groove and my style of humor that I wanted to go with, that I got more commissions and more interest in everything. So yeah, like around about here, around about 2018, this definitely is my kind of humor. Tell me, cutie, what's your biggest fantasy? I guess having someone around who really cares about me and cherishes me. Definitely around this time, I got more into furries and definitely found my kind of humor. And I think like right around here or here, it definitely is like a sharp dividing line between, I think like most of these are just okay, and after like this, I think a lot of these are really good and definitely hold up a lot better today. And as I kept going, I ended up, uh, I think I said this before, like one night I was at Midwest Fur Fest in Chicago, and I thought like, oh, I could definitely be a con artist if I wanted to. And, like I still had all those little badges from those BroNYCons I went to in 2013. I still had hundreds of them that were sat unused for years. And just kind of like a something I wanted to do, something I wanted to push myself to do, to go a bit further. You know, it's always a good idea to just go a bit further, to push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone, even if you don't think you can do it. It's always a good idea to try. So after this, little Deltarune fan art, super cute. And this was back before I changed my name on DA and FA. After this, I did a few commissions and then started drawing for R. Sally. I was going to do R. Sally at TFF 2019, and I did like badge designs like this that fit perfectly into the badges I already had. And I started experimenting with colored pencils and different things and kind of getting it all set up together. And this was kind of my setup I had at TFF. And I'm pretty proud of this. This is definitely a pretty solid lineup in my opinion. Definitely sold a lot of Rousey, sold a lot of Lucario, and had a few commissions. I just sold a lot of these colored pencil badges. So I was pretty proud of my setup. Definitely keep your prices very visible. That's something that I learned just from walking around, like, oh, I'm more interested in something if I know exactly what it is. So I always keep my prices very visible. And I did some commissions after that. I really got into my groove after this time. This was something I really do feel strongly about. I just didn't give up. I guess that's kind of like my thing. Like, it's easy to look back now and see like all the failings I had, all the things I would do differently. Like, I would make this brighter, I would do this differently, I would make this background not as blurry as it is. But it's all comes with time and experience, and it's something that you have to learn yourself. Like, it's easy to look back and see your own failings. It's easy to look at other people and compare yourself against them and feel inadequate. It's easy to do that. It's hard to put in the work and be better. Try different things and see what works, what doesn't work, what you can improve looking back. One part of my personality is I am very nostalgic about my own past and everything. Like I save a lot of stuff from back then. I still have it. Like all my old paper drawings of ponies. I'd done paper on graph paper back in the day. I still have a bunch of those in a binder. Old childhood drawings and all that. I still have them, and it's just my kind of personality. Is why I'm doing this in the first place as well. Is just I like looking back and seeing how far I've come and how much I've changed in all this time. We're up to 2019. Yeah, about a year ago. This was an animation I did in Paint Tool Sci. Um, I did like the rough animation on an iPad app and then put it into Paint Tool Sci. Was not that great. Not that great, but I do think it's cute. But I went and used Krita later for animations like this. Very proud of this. This turned out great. And this was all done in Krita, not like on paper and then on Krita or anything. By this time, I've stopped using paper sketches and then taking pictures of them and stuff like that. I just do all my sketches in Paint Tool Sci or in Krita in this case. I did another. This was a fan art for a YouTube series called Hermitcraft that I am very proud of how it turned out. It looks like a movie poster. This is like definitely one of my favorite things I've drawn last year, just because it was a step outside of my comfort zone in drawing humans, and they do look definitely like a furry draw them because of their super round eyes and face and everything. But I think it's really cool, and it's really fun interpreting Minecraft skins and stuff into this drawing. I might do more of Hermitcraft fan art in the future. I always say that. I always say, oh, I might do more X in the future. But in truth, I have a ton of ideas that I want to do and not enough time in the day to do them. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I did do TFF again next year. Yeah, I did all this kind of setup. This was my couch in my apartment. Is I just had badges and badges and things to cut out and things to do, and I did not take digital commissions in TFF 2020 just because I didn't think I had the time for it this time. So it was all color pencil badges and these badges, which I am very proud of how they turned out. Some of these sold better than others. A lot of people wanted this one, and not a lot of people wanted this one. Even though that's a great dial verse, and definitely as I have more experience, I know like, oh, I should draw more X and more Y to sale instead of like, yeah. It just how it goes. You never really can predict it before you get there. What can you do? It is fun. I also did definitely more animations like this. I did this animation in Krita that I am very proud of and looks great in my opinion, and was a lot of work, but definitely fun and definitely a very fun concept. It was interesting looking back on all this and kind of seeing my process how's it changed and everything. Another thing, like, just a lot to think about. Like, I've been drawing for 9 years, and that's a long time, you know. That's like more than a third of my life. I've been doing digital art and putting it online and putting it to myself. Just looking back on this old artwork, like this really old artwork, like I don't know why I did this. It defeats the purpose of a signature to do it this way, but I would sign my name in just as few pixels as possible and off in the corner that was easily missed. That totally defeats the purpose of the signature, but that's how I did it, and I just find that so funny now. I don't really have a way to close this, but I am very proud. I am definitely very proud of how far I've come, and please don't think it will take you 9 years if you're starting out trying to get to this level. You could definitely do it faster if you like start with the tablets instead of drawing on paper and then doing control points in GIMP like an idiot for 2 years. Experiment, like draw a lot, fail often, fail fast, and just try new things, man. a lot of my artwork is very safe, but I try to get out of my comfort zone and do different things like animations or a little dumb, not safe for work thing here and there. I don't know. And even like going to cons, even going to Artist Alley Uni after I was at those BroNYCons was, very a lot to think about and a lot to just a lot of uncertainty. But I am glad I did it, and it was definitely a much better experience than going to those MLP cons, just because I had a lot more experience and I had a lot more experience in the Brony fandom or in the furry fandom, and I knew how what people liked and what our artists were selling and what I could like fit into. So I definitely enjoyed it and definitely had like a really fun experience, and I was a much better artist. In any case, I really do hope you enjoyed this kind of look back on all this old dumb artwork and kind of my experience drawing and getting better and everything. It was, it has been a really long time I've been drawing, and I go scroll back, I see myself in my old dorm room, like late at night drawing something for an old friend, or in the computer lab or something, or even at home and drawing something after work. It has been a long time. I really do hope you enjoyed this. I really do hope you learned something, and I don't know, even if not, maybe you laughed at all my dumb stuff I used to draw, like this dumb Majora's Mask thing, or totally random pony mashups. I really do hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.